Jerusalem is, without doubt, one of the most sacred places on earth and one of the most politically contentious. An appropriate place, then, to explore the volatile relationship between religion and money, greed and power. We're told that somewhere near where I'm standing in Jerusalem, Jesus held up a coin and said, "Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, render unto God that which is God's," making the point that the business of God should be kept separate from worldly matters, the messy affairs of money and power. But history has always shown us it's never been that simple. In today's complicated, globalized world, I'd say it's getting even harder. In this series, I'll be revealing some extraordinary examples of just how entangled God's business and worldly business can be. And my starting point is just a few yards away. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Some 2 billion Christians, that's up to a third of the people of the world, believe that this is where Jesus was crucified, buried, and rose again. Several Christian denominations share this holiest of shrines, but the dominant force here is the Greek Orthodox Church. Under the leadership of the dramatically named Brotherhood of the Holy Sepulchre, the Greek Orthodox in Jerusalem claim for themselves a direct line back to the very beginnings of Christianity. The first Greek Patriarch of Jerusalem was appointed in the year 451, an impressive tradition indeed. But in recent times, the Greek Orthodox Church of Jerusalem has become consumed by a series of scandals that has scarred its reputation and provoked extraordinary anger in members of the local congregation.
They came here not to preach, not to become a true clergy. They come here for one simple reason. That's what it seems like. Most of them, they come here to steal, to sell land. It's not their land, it's the church's land. They sell land, legally and illegally, okay? And they fill their coffers, their pockets with money. We have some clergy, some bishops in Jerusalem, unfortunately, that they live like kings.
Easter 2005 in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Israeli police protect the Patriarch of Jerusalem from an onslaught of protest. The demonstrators focus their anger on a secret land deal, which they believe was masterminded by Patriarch Irenaeus I. So, one of the most important rituals in the Christian calendar, the ceremony of the Holy Fire, when flame emerges from within the tomb of Christ, is marred by violence and outrage. But this is just one protest among many. A committee formed by members of the Greek Orthodox congregation have produced a catalogue of condemnation. The Greek Orthodox Church claims to be the mother of churches, but there are many who feel it fails to live up to the responsibility that goes with such a title. The Orthodox congregation here in Israel and the Palestinian territories has been highly critical of the church hierarchy. In this report, they detail a few of hundreds, no thousands, of examples of scandalous, corrupt, immoral and unbecoming conduct. And above all, there are countless dodgy land deals. This really is worldly business. Like other religious organizations around the world and throughout history, the Greek Orthodox Church has had its full complement of priests who have succumbed to sexual temptation. But it is the financial misdemeanors that have provoked the most intense disapproval.
You want to know anything about corruption in the world, you should go to this patriarchate. It gives you all the lessons of corruption in this patriarchate. But because of the absence of modern administration in the patriarchates, makes anyone there to behave as he wants. Also the bishops in some regions in Palestine, they should, for example, when they have money, they should send it to the patriarchate. Most of them, they have the money for them, and they keep it for them, and they send it to their families in Greece, and they buy lands in Greece.
The opportunities for corruption are many. The Greek Orthodox Church is one of the biggest landowners in Israel, a country which seems to be experiencing a perpetual building boom. Much of the Greek property was gifted to the church in past centuries as a way of keeping it out of the clutches of the Ottoman authorities. And no one can put a precise figure on just how much land the church now owns. But we do know that the President's House, the Great Synagogue, and even the Israeli Parliament, the Knesset, all stand on the Greek Patriarch's land. Unfortunately, the lease for this place has just run out, and torturous negotiations are underway which reflect the Byzantine relationship between the Israeli government and the Greek Church. The Israeli government has been directly involved in the most recent and most sensational land scandal of all. It's focused on the holiest and most contentious corner of Jerusalem, the Old City. And it's not just Israel, but Greece and Jordan and the Palestinian Authority that have become embroiled. Because, as well as being a potential source of profit, land in Jerusalem is a matter of high politics. And it stirs up deep memories. Just here is the Jaffa Gate. In the year 637, Umar, the Caliph of the Islamic Empire, conquered Jerusalem. And on this spot, he was given the keys to the city by the Patriarch of Jerusalem. The Meydan Omar hasn't lost its geopolitical significance. I've been told that this modest square, with its small hotels and tourist shops, has featured in negotiations at Camp David between the leaders of the United States, Israel and the Palestinians. That's because it's the start of a main route to one of the most holy shrines in Islam, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and the most holy shrine in Judaism, the Western Wall of the Jewish Temple. So in this very sensitive area, the most notorious and murky land deal took place. I'll try to keep it simple. First, one Greek patriarch and then another were apparently involved in selling long leases on 2 hotels, a row of shops and some open land to a Jewish settler group with close links to the Israeli government and funded by American money that was passing through offshore bank accounts. The detailed figures involved in this case slip and slide, depending on who you're listening to. But I understand that $130 million was put on the table to buy long leases on this land, effectively to buy it outright. The deal with the settler organization was constructed by the financial advisor to the Patriarch, Nicholas Papademos, a Greek citizen married to an Israeli. He had already come under the suspicion of the Greek police for previous financial affairs. But when, in 2005, evidence of the Meydan Omar sale started to leak out, Mr. Papademos disappeared. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of church money disappeared at the same time. Patriarch Irenaeus denied all knowledge of these events. He said that Mr. Papademos had acted without his authority and claimed that his signature on a crucial document must have been a forgery.
I've seen in my life, dozens of deals connected to the Patriarchate. You saw, there wasn't even one deal that suspicions on forgery were not raised. But all that cannot change the reality. The reality is Irenaeus gave a power of attorney to his man, Papademos, and this Papademos has actually signed the deal.
Even more significant than the dubious nature of these financial transactions were their political implications, which scandalized even some senior members of the Brotherhood of the Holy Sepulchre.
وعندما حدثت هذه الأزمة التي ارتبطت
What happened when this deal was set up has a political dimension, because Israel seeks to take over the city of Jerusalem and to make it entirely Jewish. So it became impossible to keep silent about this horrendous crime, the attempt to secretly hand over church property to Israel.
Ever since the Israelis occupied the Old City and East Jerusalem after their victory in the Six-Day War of 1967, they have consolidated their presence here. Most Palestinians believe that the growing number of Jewish settlers who now live in these ancient streets are actors in a long-term campaign to transform the character and political future of the city. Patriarchs, Irenaeus declared, do not resign. They remain in post until they die. But the more determined he became to hold on to his job, the more the protesters bombarded him with their outrage, and the more intensely political the Medan Omar affair became. In May 2005, the Orthodox hierarchy gave way to this overwhelming political pressure. By 14 votes to none, the Council of Bishops elected Metropolitan Theophilus as the new Patriarch of Jerusalem and reduced Irenaeus to the simple status of monk. The president of Greece, Karolos Papoulias, showed his government's approval of this decision by attending the investiture. But the Israeli government withheld its approval, and even now it continues to treat Irenaeus as the officially recognized Patriarch of Jerusalem. This means that his successor is highly constrained without even access to an Israeli bank account. A few years before, the Israelis had treated Irenaeus in precisely the same way, and many people believe that the price he paid for formal recognition from the Israelis was support for the Medan Omar deal. How Byzantine is that? But just to add one more layer of complexity, I've been told that the Greek government is discreetly giving the church in Jerusalem access to vital funds.